Why does the soldier who complains the most somehow get promoted fastest? Private Lane Becker complained about everything, and I mean everything. The food was too cold, the training was too early, the uniforms were too tight, his boots hurt, the weather sucked, the truck smelled weird. Every single day, non-stop complaints from this guy drove everyone crazy. Our platoon sergeant, Staff Sergeant Vincent Cruz, had the patience of a saint. He'd just nod while Lane went off on another rant about how the army did things wrong. Sergeant, this rifle cleaning procedure is inefficient. We're wasting time doing it this way. Noted, Becker, keep cleaning. These rucksacks are poorly designed. The weight distribution is all wrong. Someone should redesign them. I'll pass that along to the Pentagon, Becker. The rest of us wanted to duct tape his mouth shut. My buddy Wyatt actually offered to pay money to anyone who could get Lane to shut up for 5 consecutive minutes. Nobody collected. What made it worse was that Lane wasn't lazy. He did his job perfectly. Top marksman, fastest runner, never late. He just complained constantly while doing it. 3 months into our deployment, we got a new lieutenant, fresh from officer school, eager to prove himself. Lieutenant Clayton Reeves started asking everyone for feedback about unit operations. Big mistake. He asked Lane. Lane unleashed a 30-minute presentation about everything wrong with our supply system. How we ordered the wrong equipment, how inventory was tracked inefficiently, how we could save money by changing vendors. Lieutenant Reeves listened to all of it, taking notes. We figured he was just being polite. 2 weeks later, Reeves implemented some of Lane's suggestions. Changed how we tracked ammunition, reorganized the supply tent, adjusted our maintenance schedule, and it actually worked. Everything ran smoother. We saved 4 hours every week on inventory alone. Sergeant Cruz noticed. Started asking Lane questions about other procedures. Lane, of course, had opinions about everything. The guard rotation is unbalanced. Everyone's exhausted because the shifts aren't distributed properly. Cruz adjusted the schedule based on Lane's input. Suddenly, nobody was falling asleep on watch anymore. Our convoy routes are predictable. We're taking the same roads every time. That's dangerous. Cruz brought it up the chain. They varied the routes. Avoided an IED 2 weeks later on the old path we would have taken. Lane kept complaining, but now people were listening instead of ignoring him. 6 months in, Lieutenant Reeves recommended Lane for promotion to specialist. Early promotion, ahead of everyone else in our platoon. We were furious. The guy who complained non-stop was getting promoted first. Sergeant Cruz called a formation. I know some of you are upset about Becker's promotion. Let me explain something. Becker doesn't just complain. He identifies problems and proposes solutions. That's called critical thinking. That's leadership. He looked at all of us. The rest of you see something wrong and just deal with it. Becker sees something wrong and tries to fix it. Big difference. Lane made specialist. Then 6 months later, sergeant, youngest squad leader in the company. His squad hated him at first because he made them question everything too. Why are we doing it this way? Is there a better method? What's the actual regulations say? But his squad became the most efficient in the company. They innovated constantly, found better ways to do everything. 2 years later, we're back stateside. Lane's up for staff sergeant. I'm still a specialist. I ran into Sergeant Cruz at the promotion board, asked him what Lane's secret was. No secret. Lane understands something most soldiers don't. The army has stupid rules because nobody questions them. Someone implemented something 20 years ago and everyone just kept doing it that way. Lane asks why. Then he fixes it. That's what leaders do. Made sense, but I was still bitter. So complaining is good now? Cruz laughed. There's a difference between complaining and identifying problems. Complainers just whine. Problem solvers complain with solutions. Lane's always been the second one. You guys just heard it as the first. Lane made staff sergeant at 23, youngest in the battalion. His new platoon groaned when they heard who their new platoon sergeant was. First formation, Lane gathered everyone. I know my reputation. Yes, I complain about everything, because everything can be better. Your job is to help me figure out how. I'm not here to make your life miserable. I'm here to make this unit the best in the army. Within 6 months, his platoon had the highest readiness rating on base. Other units started copying their procedures. The colonel brought Lane in to brief the entire battalion on efficiency improvements. Lane gave another 30-minute presentation. Everyone took notes this time. Last I heard, Lane made sergeant first class at 26, on track for sergeant major before he's 40. The guy who complained about everything became one of the most respected leaders in the division. Wyatt saw him at a conference last year. Finally asked him directly, how did you turn constant complaining into career success? Lane smiled. I never complained. I diagnosed. Everyone else just couldn't tell the difference. Then he added, by the way, your uniform's bloused wrong. The regulation says 6 inches, not 8. You're making yourself look sloppy for no reason. Some things never change.